The previous year, I had lost my son, and I was not expecting to have any more children. I didn't want children after that experience. So when I found out that I was pregnant with her, it was definitely a surprise to me, and also maybe a little bit embarrassing, because just my social network, nobody was a single parent, nobody had children out of wedlock, and so I dealt with kind of the embarrassment of having to tell people about it. But my family was extremely supportive, my parents especially, and my mom was actually the one that came up with the name Zoe because it meant God's abundant life. And my pregnancy with her was a breeze. I didn't have morning sickness. I felt terrific. And as soon as I adjusted to the thought that I was going to be a mom again, I just felt overwhelming joy and peace about it. And so that was, I loved being pregnant with her. It was just, I can't even describe the experience. And so when I had her, it was an easy labor. It was like 5 hours. And I remember, them putting her in my arms, and she cried. And I can't describe that feeling very well, of looking at this tiny human that was somehow created by me and somebody else, but mainly me, because I was a single parent, and I wasn't talking to her father at that time, so I kind of was able to take all of the credit for this beautiful creation. And I'm still in awe of that. She's almost 17, and I still watch her and just am amazed at the ability to create like that. Zoe, even as an infant, knew exactly who she was, and she cried the first night, pretty much all night. I think it was because she was like getting rid of the medications that were in her system. But then after that, she was never unhappy. She was always smiling and cooing as an infant. She walked at 8 months, and it was just, she knew who she was when she came into the world. And then as she grew older, we had a little bit of struggle with, because she had such a strong personality and I have a strong personality. It was just fighting a little bit just to see who was going to be in charge. And then I remember, like, when she was about 6 years old, I really had to pray, because I was a single parent, and try to figure out how to raise her. And I decided to try something different than what I was accustomed to, as, from the way that my parents raised me. And I just began letting her express herself. And like, if she was angry, I would allow her to be angry, as long as she was able to explain why she was angry. Or if she was sad, I allowed her to feel those emotions, because I think a lot of times children are stifled because they're not allowed to have these huge emotions that they do have, and they're not able to communicate it completely because their language skills aren't there yet. And so once I did that, our relationship changed because she was able to have the freedom to express to me what she was feeling. And so she was about 4 when Tyler came along. Tyler was a different experience for me because I had a lot of stress in my life at that time. My relationship with his father was not good. There was just a lot of things going on, and I was actually with Tyler's dad until he was about 15 months old. My labor with Tyler was easy too. I didn't actually know I was in labor when I just woke up in the morning and I was like, oh, I'm cramping. This doesn't feel real good. And I told Tyler's dad that I was going to go to the clinic and get checked just to make sure nothing was going on. And so I got in the car and I started driving, and I got to a stoplight that was like a half mile from the hospital, and I had my first really hard contraction. And I had this thought that I didn't want to have the baby in the car by myself. But thankfully I made it to the hospital, and when I got there I was like 8 centimeters, and so it was near over with, and my mom and dad barely had time to get there. I think it was like 15 minutes after my mom showed up that I had him. And so, but with Tyler, it was different. I didn't know back then what to call it. The months after having him, I just had just terrible depression, and just not the thought that I wanted to kill myself or anything like that. It's just I could not muster the ability to be happy about anything. And later on I found out that there's a name for it, and that's postpartum depression. And I really wish that I would have known what it was, because I would have sought out help for it. And those first couple of months, it was just a feeling of hopelessness. And it wasn't that I wasn't happy that I had him, and it wasn't that I didn't love him, and that I didn't love Zoe. It was like going through life in this gray fog that I couldn't pull myself out of. I became single again, and I was living by my parents. That kind of lifted, and it was definitely harder having 2 children than just Zoe, but their personalities are so different. Zoe is very much an independent go-getter, and Tyler is very laid back, and just he's easy, and he always has been an easy child. And it's not that Zoe isn't an easy child. She challenged me more. They have a unique relationship that's gotten better as time has gone on, because Zoe is so just out there, and I can do this, and it doesn't matter what it is, I'm gonna do it. And Tyler's like, I'll let mom do it. She's kind of not resented, but kind of had a little bit of animosity to the way that I cater to him, which I do. But I knew after him I wasn't going to have any more children, and so I kind of babied him. But now they have a really good relationship now that they are older. I think what surprised me is, and this is a brutally honest answer, is that I didn't enjoy everything about being a mother. I enjoy and I love my children, but there's times that I don't know if it was because I was a single parent, but there was times where I was like, man, I really just want to be me for a little while. Not mom, and not the caregiver, and not the provider. I just want to be me. And that surprised me, that I would feel that. But then on the flip turn of it never ceases to amaze me and surprise me, the pride that I have in my children. And just that I never stop enjoying watching the milestones with them. and watching them do things and experience things and become their own person. And so those are things that surprised me about motherhood. My relationship with them now, because she's almost 17 and Tyler just turned 13. It's become a lot easier in ways because they're older and I'm able to communicate with them better, and they're both very secure within themselves, which I contribute a lot to the people that I have around them. I made a very conscious choice to surround my children with people that would encourage good life skills and life goals. My church is just wonderful with them, and my brother and his wife have helped me tremendously. And in the early years, my dad and my mom were a tremendous help. And so now I feel like because the groundwork was laid with them, where they're secure in who they are, and they're secure in their relationship with me, where they know that they can come to me and tell me anything, and they do, without a repercussion. I feel like they're better set up for becoming adults. And I see it mostly with Zoe just because she's so much older. She's making A's in school, and she does volleyball, and she has a job, and she has a car. And it's fun watching her. Our relationship has changed even more from mother-daughter to a friendship, because at this point, with her being almost 17, if I haven't done a good job, it's going to show up, And so far, she's very grounded, and I'm very thankful for that. And Tyler, with him being 13 and starting that stage of his life, I'm just super excited to see what he's going to do and how he performs as a young man.